Okay, so then with that done, I think I can start now. So I'm going to share my screen. Today we'll be continuing from where we ended last week. Okay. 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 So last week, I think we started with information security controls, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what's happening? Something to Okay, please let's mute our mics please let's mute our mics. Please let's mute.
The guy from Liberia.
Excuse me.
The guy from Liberia, his mic is on.
Emmanuel. Okay, I think everybody is muted now. Yeah, so last week we were able to finish with administrative controls. Okay. Last week we were able to finish with administrative controls. Did we follow last week?
Yes.
Yeah, so remember the controls we did last week, administrative controls and all of that.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. So then we're going to continue from there today, from where we ended. Now, last week, we were about to start Zero Trust. Okay, so then before we go on, what do you remember from last week's class? Let's do this in 2 minutes. Anybody remember something from last week that you think is worth mentioning? Remember something from last week you think is worth mentioning? Anybody at all?
I remember the SQL injection, the social engineering issues, and then the I think at a point I also mentioned about people not being able to reference appropriately, and so they just leave transactions hanging, making it very difficult and very easy for attackers to just come in and then hack the system.
Okay. Yes. Anybody else before we proceed? Something you picked from last week's class?
I remember about distributed denial of service, where attackers overwhelm the system or server with network just to cause internet traffic, such that the platform will not be available for the legitimate users. They all try to collapse the platform.
Okay. All right. Anybody else wants to share before we can go?
The platform.
Yes. Anybody else wants to share before we go?
I remember we made mention of 3 types of information security controls as the preventive one, which is by being proactive. The
Okay.
detective one is to identify or detect any breaches, and then the corrective ones. These are the things that I also remember.
That's beautiful. So there are a lot of controls, but then we congregate or we aggregate them into three major ones. Okay. So the preventive, the detective, and the corrective. The preventive that we prevent the attacks from happening. Detective is that when the attack is happening, it should give you signals that the attack is happening. And then corrective, once the attack has happened, how do you restore yourself? And so I think that's where we've and then we did administrative controls and we explained what policies are and all of that. We may get into administrative controls either today or tomorrow. And so at least by the end of today, tomorrow, we should be able to do administrative controls, and then we'll look at a lot of things under there, and then we can get into risk management and all of that. And then when we're done with risk management, we'll get into some level of technical stuff with networking and networking security. And then those who want to do the pen testing too would branch and go and come. So from next week or beyond next week, we're going to now begin to. This one we are drinking milk, so it's fun. I believe God that all will be fun throughout as we go along. Right. So today let's start with zero trust. Okay, what is zero trust? Has anybody heard of zero trust before? Has anybody heard of zero trust before? Anybody?
Not me. I haven't heard of it before.
You haven't? Okay.
I think you made mention of it last week in one of the sections.
Okay.
I said if anybody is access control, even the CEO is also supposed to go by the rules and all those stuff.
Yeah. So let's get into it quickly. Okay. So zero trust, just like the name, it means that we don't trust anybody in cybersecurity. You don't trust anybody, including yourself. Fundamentally, that is all. So everybody is a suspect. Does it make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. You see, security breaches, like we've been saying, okay, can happen knowingly or unknowingly. So you may not be intentionally allowed yourself to have been breached, but then unintentionally you can allow a breach to happen. And so no matter how good you are, okay, because of the fact that the breach can be unintentional, we don't trust you. It's not that you would intentionally breach the system. No. You may unintentionally, by accident, breach the system. So then we put everybody in the category of suspect. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes. So so this week I've had to deal with two major incidents. Okay, two incidents. One identity theft and then one I think it was a phishing attack that has now turned to a ransomware. But okay, so the person is here. The person called me from this class, and so I don't have the permission of the person to share. So I'll limit the information. Okay. So that nobody is really a suspect. But then somebody system is hacked unknowing to the person. Okay. and is compromised. Now, the issue is that, did the person intentionally get herself hacked? No. So, by your ignorance, you have allowed somebody hack your system. Did you intentionally do it? No. Have you done it? Yes. Is there a hack? Yes. The crux of the issue is that your system has been compromised, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally. And so then anybody or anything that has the potential of compromising a system is a suspect. We don't say that, oh, as for this person there, to mean yes, sir. You know, that kind of mentality, Ghanaian mentality. As for this person there, she's too good to allow that. Unintentionally, she can allow it. And forgive those who don't understand tree. You see, nipa trimming your bofre. Now, so you can be working with somebody, and the person has so much ill intentions for you, but the person smiles with you every day. I don't know if you have had that experience in life before, but I have seen it in real life happen to me. And you ask yourself, is it not the same person who was smiling last week? How can this person do this? And what has happened, you know, that it was not planned within a week. It has been a meticulous plan to get you into an issue. So then zero trust is that, Jack, we don't trust anybody, including ourselves. So there's always somebody checking somebody, or a system checking somebody. And the system that is checking you, there's another system that is checking that system. So there's checks all throughout so that breaches are prevented as much as lies with us. I don't know if I've explained it enough. Is it clear?
It's okay.
Yes. So it is a security framework, okay, that requires all users, not some users. So all users, whether in or outside organizations in network, to be number one, authenticated. When you are logging in, you need to be authenticated. Are you the right person logging in? Even if you are the CEO, you have to authenticate that it is you. Number two, you have to be authorized. Authorized. You have to be authorized. Somebody has to give you permission. You have to be authorized. You have to receive permission. Okay. And then continuously validated. So once you are in, there's a system checking that you are still the person. Nobody has taken over your logins and is working with you. So you are authenticated, you are authorized, and you are continuously validated for security configurations and posture before granting access to applications and data. I think this explains what I said earlier. So one of the things we do to ensure limited access is what we call the least privilege access. The least privilege access. The least privilege access. Okay, so what is the objective of least privilege? It limits user access, right, to the minimum necessary information to perform their jobs. Okay, so it gives you access to the information that is necessary for you to perform your job. Beyond that, you don't have any other information. So for instance, if you are a hospital, okay, there's a hospital with multiple departments, including nursing, pharmacy, and administration. So a nurse will need access to patient's medical record and medication schedule and treatment plan. The information the nurse needs is different from the information the accounts department needs. I don't know if you get it. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
then
clear, it's clear, it's clear.
in the
I
system,
wanted to ask a quick question.
yes.
So if there is zero trust, nobody
Okay.
trusts anybody,
Mm-hmm.
who would then authenticate the cyber security expert who is now in charge? Who then authenticates him or her?
Yeah, so that is why there is also auditors. Okay, so everybody is checking somebody. Do you get it? So there's the governance aspect of what we are going to do. And so then we'll see who reports. So then there's a reporting system. Maybe this week or next week, we'll get into change management and you will see all of that. Are we okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so then it's just like an organizational structure. This person reports to this person reports to that person. This person is checking that person until it gets to the Oga Kwata Kwata who is not checked. And even that one, there's a system that checks him. So then there's the right checks and balances to go along. And so for instance, as a cybersecurity person, you may be the chief information security officer, but then you are guided by the policy, you are guided by the frameworks, you are guided by procedures. So because you are a cybersecurity, you are the chief cybersecurity expert there. You can't just get up and do anything. There are laws you also have to follow. And then there are external auditors that will come in to ensure that you are doing the right thing. To ensure that you pass your audits, there are internal auditors that will be auditing your systems. Is the structure clear? Okay, that's fine. So just let's take like the hospital management system. You have your hospital card. Okay, you go to the hospital, you are checked in or you are logged into the system. Your name appears that today you are coming to the hospital. Once your name is in the system that you are here, okay, your information is disseminated to different parts of the system. And so what the pharmacy is seeing about you is different from what the doctor is seeing about you. What the nurse is seeing about you is different from what the account officer is seeing about you. The account officer has no business seeing the result of your labs. If the account officer has access to your lab results, what is he going to use it for? Or they go ahead. What is the relevance of your lab results to the account officer in the hospital? Who can tell me?
He does not need your lab results.
It doesn't need your lab results.
He just needs your money. Aside that,
Yes. So then the system will be made such that, okay, the account officer has a least privilege access. So he has only the least privilege of knowing what he has to know. Beyond what he has to know, he shouldn't know any other thing that he doesn't have to know. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Yes. So we are giving you the information you need just to perform your function. Any other information outside what is necessary for you to perform your function, you don't need to know. So to the nurse will need your temperature. The nurse will need your medical history as since you've been coming to the hospital. The nurse will need your vital information. So the nurse will see some vital information about you. Even with that, it is not all the medical history about you that the nurse will see. Because he or she needs that particular information to do a particular job. And so that particular information will be given to the person for that intended job. Beyond that, they won't get any other information. So we also call it the need to know. What do you need to know? So we provide you the exact information you need to know. So least privilege or need to know. So anywhere you hear least privilege or need to know, it's just an information security control that gives access to somebody to access information that is only relevant to the work he or she is doing and nothing else. So the pharmacy will have access to only the drugs that have been prescribed to you by the doctor to dispense to you. Then when that dispensing is done, you have to go and pay 500 cedis. That 500 cedis is pushed to the accounts department. Probably with some facilities, the account department will know what made up the 500 cedis. So maybe you're buying para, you're buying this, you're buying that. That makes up your 500 cedis. Beyond that, the account department will not need to know so much again. Sorry for the distraction. But is it clear? Any questions so far?
It is clear.
Okay. No question? Then let's move on. So the restriction is that the nurse cannot access medical inventory or pharmacy records. Okay. The pharmacist cannot access patients' records or treatment plan. The administrative assistant cannot access patients' medical records, medication schedule, or pharmacy records. So maybe you try to access the patient's record in a department that is not giving access, okay? You'll be denied access. I don't know if you have watched these American movies where somebody's typing in a password or these investigative movies, FBI something, and then you type in your password and you tell you access denied or you don't have clearance. I don't know if you have seen something like that before.
Plenty.
Yes. So this is the restriction. So then they restrict you to your pay grade or your security clearance, especially if it is a security movie, your security clearance. So it means that you cannot get information beyond your security clearance because here's at your level, this is only the information you need to work. And there's somebody above him who has a certain clearance above him to another level. So then, if you need to get information outside the scope of your work, okay, there is a plan, there is a procedure you go through. You have to write. You have to write. It has to be verified as to why you need the access. Is it necessary before the access is granted? And when it's granted for a period and it is strictly monitored. So then we'll look at change management and we'll look at how to gain access beyond what you normally have. Okay. So need to know how much information a user must know or have access to. So you need to know. You are giving information exactly as you need to know about. Okay, so then it is to ensure non-repudiation. Users cannot deny that they took an action. So that's where audit logs and digital signatures provide a non-repudiation. Okay, so in every system, you should have logs. I think we spoke about logs last week, where once you log in, the system is recording everything you are doing. Okay, once you log in, the system is recording. You went here, you did this, you typed that, you did that. So that in case there's a problem, and we are trying to look at where the problem came from. By the audit logs, okay, you get to know who was where at what time and who is responsible for that. So that is non-repudiation. So now you can begin to use these terms. We have to ensure non-repudiation. You are just trying to say that you are just trying to stop people from lying to you. So I'm creating a system around me to avoid non-repudiation. You understand? But then the longer you use them and you understand them, the better it sticks with you. So I would advise that the more of the terms we learn, find ways to be using them daily in your activities. Okay. So let's look at the IAAA protocol. Okay, so the process of accessing a system. So the first one is identification, claim an identity. So then when you are logging into a system or you are creating an identity on a system, these are protocols that are always followed. When you get a job or you're on the job and they are creating your account, your staff accounts for you on their portal or whatever, these are the protocols they will follow. So the first one is identification. So your identity, that's your username. Who are you? Identity. Okay, I am. So identity, your username. It could be your full name or a unique username. So you realize that any platform you are logging on to, they ask you for usernames. For some platforms, automatically it is your email address. For some of them, it is your full name. For some of them, it is at something. So, and then funny enough, okay, it is always supposed to be unique. It is sometimes you are creating an email with your own name and you type in the name and they'll tell you that this name is not available. Have you experienced it before?
Yeah.
Yes. It means that probably somebody has the same name and is using that email address. And so they ask you to add a number or something so that then what is here is that it should be unique. It should be unique. So they don't want a situation where on the system, two people are using the same email address. It will be chaos. It will be very, very chaotic one day when you realize that two people are using the same email address. So, for instance, in my family, Charles Hagan for a good family, 2,000. Okay, so imagine all the Charles Hagans in the family are using the same email address. What happens to somebody's information? You understand? So, your identification is supposed to be always unique. And so then the system registers a name to you that is unique to you. It is just like saying that your fingerprint is different from everybody's. It is made such that it is unique. Even twins have different fingerprints. How that happens, when we get to heaven, we'll ask God. But then I think that it is all of that to establish everybody's uniqueness. Everybody's uniqueness. Imagine if two people have the same fingerprint and one person commits a crime. Will it be fair to the other person if he's arrested? No. And so that is that. Any questions so far?
It's okay so far.
So far, okay, that's beautiful. Okay, so number 2 is authentication. So the user prove their identity with authentication, and that is password. Password. So we know that, okay, your name is Kwesi. Kwesi, anytime you are accessing the system, tell us something unique that will make us know that it is indeed you. So like I was saying, the Charles Sagan people are plenty. So give us something that will let us know that, okay, it is this Charles Sagan that is coming in. So then you set a password. That gives you authentication. You authentify, or you say that, okay, this is the proof that shows, okay? This is the proof that shows that anytime I'm knocking the door, if I knock 3 times, then it is me. I don't know if you understand the logic I'm driving at, but then it is a sign to show that, okay, you are the one coming in. Let me pick this from the Bible. I don't know how many of you read your Bibles, okay, but there's a story of Jephthah. I don't know how many of you know Jephthah in the Bible from Judges chapter 11. Okay, this is just by the way. I think it will serve the purpose. So Jephthah is thrown out of the father's house and all of that stories, and then there's a fight that Jephthah is now brought back to come and fight for the people of Gilead. Now, the Ephraimites, who are uncles of the Gileadites, in chapter 12 of Judges, when they realized that Jephthah has won the battle and the glory now has come, they came to Jephthah and said that, listen, we are your uncles. Why is that when we were going to fight, you didn't come and call us to come and help you? Because you didn't come and call us, now we'll kill all your people because you didn't invite us to come and fight with you. And then it became a war. The reason for the war is that you were going to fight. You didn't come and call me to support you. And so then there was a war between the Gileadites and the Ephraimites. And then the Gileadites were beating, that's Jephthah's people, they were beating the Ephraimites. Now the Ephraimites were now dressing to look like Gileadites. So then they are not Jephthah's people, but then they will suddenly dress like Jephthah's people so that they will avoid killing. Then Jephthah came up with a password that when you meet anybody, let the person say Sibolet. Sibolet. And they couldn't say Sibolet because you know the story, eh?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the history is that the Ephraimites were the children of Joseph that were born in Egypt. So they had the Egyptian accent. So they couldn't speak with the fluency of the normal Israeli tribes. So they'll say Sibolet, and they will say Shibolet. They can't say Si, they will say Shibolet. So once they can't pronounce it with the right, it's just like, excuse me to say, oh, sorry, oh, sorry. You tell an Ashanti man to say classroom. What is he likely to say?
Classroom.
And also catch Asantini say, okay, say green grass. I'll give you $1,000. Say green grass.
I think
Green grass.
there's this new one
Green
on
grass.
Facebook. There's this one on Facebook. Because say I'm brown. I am celiac.
So that
Green grass.
that heaviness of the tongues of the Ephraimites became a password. So fine, you say your identity is a Gileadite. We don't have a problem. Now authenticate that you're a Gileadite. Say Sibolet. Now done a war. So once you are unable to pronounce the Sibolet and you say Shibolet, then authorization comes here. So they are either they are granting you or restricting the user access. So they were crossing over the Jordan. So if you say Sibolet, you cross. If you don't say Sibolet, you die. So then that comes with authorization. So the Sibolet is authentication. That's your password. And the person listening to your speech is the one supposed to authorize and say that no, the way you said it is not correct. Die or pass. I don't know if it's simple. The story is simplifying what we are learning.
Yeah, very well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So the person entering your password. So you are saying Sibolet. You the person entering your password. Okay. You are the one saying the Sibolet, and the person listening to you, okay, is the one going to give you the authorization. It will tell you, if he listens to what you are saying, says no, this thing doesn't sound well, then he will either give you permission to cross the Jordan or he will kill you. So the person will either grant you access or restrict access to the information system. Is it clear?
I think
Yeah.
yes, it's so. Just to elaborate,
Okay.
like you mentioned earlier about the authorization
Yes.
and then identification, to be specific. There's other movies also where you need the eyeball. You need a scanner to scan the pupil,
Yes.
grant access.
Yes.
So it's just something around that same area.
Yes. Yes. We'll come to that very soon. The biometrics. I think that's the next topic we'll be going to.
Okay.
Yes. So then when you are authorized and you are given access to your assigned role on your system, on the system, so you are not giving general authorization. Once you enter the system, it gives you an assigned role. Okay. It gives you an assigned role on the system. Again, let me try and use the Bible to see if I can make sense. So, in the plagues that, okay, so we know, I think we all know of the Passover story where they are saying that if you apply the blood on your door, okay, every firstborn son will die, but your son will not die. So once you are inside, I think that you are limited to a specific region. It's between Goshen and Ramses. Everybody in Goshen died. Everybody in Ramses died. Those in Goshen were peaceful. So you are assigned a role. Once you are in your role, you are fine. You cannot cross carpet into roles that the system does not assign you. And then there's accountability. I think we've spoken about audit trails a lot from last week. We've spoken about logs that tracks whatever you do on the system. So anything you do on the system, there is a log capturing it. Okay, so let's look at here. Identification is uniqueness. Authentication is giving you verification. Authorization is giving you validation. And then accountability is tracking what you do when you have been given the authorization to get into the system. These are all to ensure that the system is safe. The system is protected from unauthorized access. And once you have access, whatever you do with your access is checked so that you don't cross your boundaries. Are we fine? Okay. Contributions,
fine.
questions before we make progress. Yes, so this is what I think someone mentioned it just a few seconds ago. The validation and all of those things. So e-authentication factors. These are the factors that when we are authenticating you, would use. Okay. So something you know, something you have, something you are, somewhere you are, something you do. We'll get to understand all of these things today, and then I'm sure we'll be fine. Okay, so let's look at the authentication factors. Something you know, that's your username and your password. That one, you know it. Let's see. I think I have another material that better explains this. Okay. Okay. Is it can you see this? There's a plain. What you are supposed to be seeing is a plain document with three main authentication factors. Is that what you're
Yes,
seeing?
yes, please.
Okay. All right. So, like we're saying, something you know. This involves information that only the user should know. When we are getting into authentication, the first thing we'll talk about is that something you know involves information that only the user should know. Example, password. So listen to me carefully. Never share your password. Never share your password. Remember we said something about zero trust. Never share your password, especially if it has to do with sensitive information. The only password I'll think you should share, I know it depends on the kind of relationship you have. Your Mumu password with your wife. That is debatable.
I know grandpa we won't share.
What was it?
I know grandpa no we won't share. Still we no go share.
Well, my wife knows mine, so
Yes. That for me, okay. Sometimes there are emergencies and all of that. And
yeah.
so for me, I think unless of course you don't trust the person you marry, then why then did you marry? But then that's a different debate for another day.
So simply put, you share
So
your password with your spouse.
your password is a secret string of characters used to log into an account. So the password you use to log into your account, please don't share it with anybody, especially ones that can be compromised. And so, was it today is Saturday? Was it yesterday or the day before that CTFM's Facebook was hacked? Right?
Thursday.
Yes, Thursday. So that means the day before. I don't know how a whole institution like CTFM can be that compromised. Okay, we are trying to see if we can get details of the issues. But then don't share your password. No matter what, who, maintain a zero trust policy. Please, what did I say? Maintain a zero trust policy. In cyber, now you are not a layman again. You are a security man in the cyberspace. So as a cyber security person, maintain a zero trust policy when it comes to certain things. So that's the first one. So passwords, your PIN, your personal identification number, a short numeric code often used in conjunction with your smart card or bank card. Again, your PIN, if it is bank card, don't share it with anybody. And then for some systems, they'll ask you for security questions. Sometimes some of the systems will ask you to choose your own question and provide answers. When was the last time you did this? 20 years ago, what is the name of your favorite uncle? I don't know how many of you have answered some of those questions before.
Plenty.
Yeah,
Yes.
Gmail normally does that.
Excuse me?
Gmail normally asks those questions.
Yes, yes. So such questions, don't give the answers to anybody, because when there's a breach and you want to take back your account, these are some of the questions that are asked you. And so if the person knows it, the person enter it as you and get access to your account. So these things, you can keep them secure somewhere, but don't share it with anybody. Okay? Don't share it with anybody. So that is something you know. Something you know. Something you know. Okay? Now, something you have. Okay, so then I think here in the something you have, it involves a physical item that the user possesses. So a PIV card. Okay, so then that is your staff card. I don't know how many Ghanaian organizations do staff login cards. If you work with any institution that gives you a card that grants you access, you can share your experience with us. Anybody here like that? Nobody here like that. Okay. So then, is somebody saying something? Okay, let's move. So these cards,
It's time for break, Paul.
it's time for breaking. Okay.
Right now.
Okay. Right now, it means you're following, you're enjoying what you are following. Okay, so let's take 5 minutes. Is 5 minutes fine, or 10?
Break there 10 to 15 minutes.
15.
10 minutes. Thank you.
5, please.
I think 10 minutes is enough, Paul.
10 minutes
Okay,
is
so
okay.
let's do 10 minutes break and we'll be back to continue.
Very
Okay.
well. Very well. Very well.
All right, guys, break over. Let's get back on system. Let's do our last 1 hour and then we can call it a night. Are we on? Can we make progress now?
I'm here.
Can we make progress?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Okay, so then we were at something you have. So at least now we know what is something you know. So these are the factors that takes place when we are doing e-authentication to give you access into a system. And these things are things that you need to get into the system. So the first one we've dealt with is something you know. Now let's look at something you have. So the card. Okay, this has a lot to do with physical access. Okay, so we're talking about, so these ones are for federal employees. These are US systems, but then the common access card. Okay, so these are cards that gives you access to a secure system. And so let's say you are on maybe a skyscraper building as an office facility. Your office is in maybe the 10th floor. Okay, but you have access for 10th and 11th floor. So that card gives you access to the elevator up to the 11th floor. Now, if you need to get beyond that, your card will not give you access beyond that particular one. And so, and these cards, once you have them on you, you should not lose them. You've seen movies where somebody steals somebody's card and enters a certain room because they didn't have access cards to get into those places, and they go and cause harm. And sometimes it is detected, sometimes it's not detected, and the person whose card was stolen is rather apprehended for the crime. We've seen it several times in movies, right? These are representations of what happens actually on the ground. Any question here? So hardware tokens, okay, so devices that generate OTPs or store cryptographic keys. So you can have a hardware that generates OTPs or it stores cryptographic keys. I think I once wrote a code for a password generator or something, but then that's a software. It automatically generates passwords and saves it for you. And so then you don't have to repeat one password for all your, say, some of you here, all your information, everything you are doing in this world, you use one password. So your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, your email address, official work, everything is one password because you are afraid you forget. If you are like that, please, from today, as you are learning in this class, go and repent. Do we have a corporate like that in this class where you are using one password for everything? Is there somebody here like that? Don't worry, don't be shy.
My hand is up and down.
Your hand is up and
Yeah,
down.
so I using one. Yeah, I using one
Yeah,
password.
Fanny, we need to know from.
The easiest way to lose access as a security person is to have one password for every system. It is the easier because then, okay, can we mute our mic? So can we mute, please? Can everybody mute, please? Thank you. Yes. So the easiest way to lose access or to compromise your systems is to have one password for all your systems. So once I get that one password, it means that every system connected to you, I can have access. And so it is very, very dangerous. I will share with you right after the class on your platforms a survey that was done, a study about passwords and how long brute force attacks can take to break into those passwords. I'll share it with you and then we'll discuss it tomorrow. So I'll share it with you right after we are done here. And then we'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay. So smartphones with authenticator apps. So now there are a lot of authenticator apps. Okay, so devices that generate OTPs through apps like Google Authenticator and Microsoft Authenticator. These are some things you have. Okay. USB security key, a physical device like a UV key that must be inserted into a port for authentication. And so it's just like it plays a function as an authenticator. It's just a USB. And then once you are getting there, you insert it and then it gives you. Now, technology has so much advanced, okay, that so I have a colleague friend who is a pastor, and the last time we were talking and he was telling me that no, Charlie, now for crypto, he doesn't use exchanges again. He uses a cold storage. And so he showed me a ring, all right, he was wearing, and that was his crypto wallet. Okay, that was his crypto wallet. But unless he tells you, you think it's a normal ring he's wearing. And these are all security measures people are now putting in place to safeguard their stuff. And so as you are learning some of these things, please let's take precautions accordingly. So the next thing is there any question here for me? Or it's clear? So let's move to the third e-authentication factor. That is something you are. This is where the biometrics comes in. Okay, something you are. Something you are. And this factor involves biometric characteristics that are unique to the user. So then fingerprint comes in, facial recognition comes in, iris scan comes in, voice recognition. There's somebody that asked a question about iris and all of that. So in some organizations, they have a setup that authenticates you via biometrics. And so you want to get into a door, you have to use a fingerprint. You want to get into your phone, facial recognition, iris scan, voice recognition. And so these ones are unique to you that no one can have physical access to that point except they have your eyes. So if a hacker wants to get into your system, they have to come for your eyes or they have to cut your finger off. And so these security features helps us safeguard our physical access points. The person who asked the question about iris and fingerprints and all of that, is it answered now? Is the person here? The person who asked the question about iris and all of that.
Probably not back from break.
Not back from break. The question you answer, but then you can watch the videos for. But is it clear? Do we have any? Do we need any help here? or we are fine?
I'm fine.
Okay. So additional authentication factors, number 4, somewhere you are. Okay, so involves your geographic location. Okay, so GPS or IP address. So that is how come you are logging into your email from a different machine, and Google will send a message that, oh, somebody is trying to log in from this machine at this location. Is it you? Should we grant access? Have you received such an information before?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Oh yeah, several times.
Yeah, several times. So for instance, okay, I remember when I was applying for jobs online, one of the strong things that made me regret being a Ghanaian was some of these things. Location-based authentication. There are some jobs on LinkedIn, you try to click on it and they tell you that the employer restricted access from your region, or employment is not available in your region.
I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
The location-based authentication. Can't one use VPN to reset the location?
Can't you use what? VPN?
Yeah.
Okay. It can be done, but now you know that VPN can also be bypassed, right?
I'm not surprised.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I said I'm not surprised they can.
Yes, so now a lot of people are with the illusion that once you are using a VPN, your location cannot be guessed or cannot be ascertained. With sophistication, your VPN can be bypassed and your exact location can be found out if they want to find out. But then that can be done. That can be done. But then it also doesn't guarantee you 100% secrecy. Are we fine?
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so then the last thing is something you do, your behavior. So this factor involves behavior-based authentication methods that track user habits. So maybe there are systems. Now AI is doing, oh boy, AI is doing so much that you cannot keep up on daily basis the new things that are being added. So even you're walking, okay, from afar, your walking can be detected and said, okay, this is the person coming. Grant access, deny access. How you type your keyboard or your keystroke dynamics, that how you hit your keypad. All these informations can be saved so that now somebody is trying to log in and is typing different from the way the system knows you type. Access can be denied. So on the day, interesting. Yeah, this. Oh, so then on the day that probably you have a problem that you cannot type like you used to, probably one finger is paining you, or your wrist is paining you, or something, or one hand has a problem, so you have to use the other. I think you have to give prior notice to the system, or so then would affect change management. Then this person is coming. This is the normal pattern, but today this is the challenge. So this is what might happen. So then you override the system and then it grants you access. Your height, your weight, your BMI, all of this is saved, and all of that is used to authenticate to grant, especially in physical access control. So there are some doors that underneath the doors are systems that are gauging your weight and your height. And all of that is saved so that somebody tries to log in and doesn't match your height, it doesn't match your weight, the system may find it difficult granting access. And so these are all ways, and these are quite advanced ways. I'm not sure, I don't know if we'll have that system in this part of the world yet, but let's see if we can have some around. And these are all systems that are used in securing, especially data centers, server rooms, very, very sensitive areas where information are stored, that the slightest breach may cause a problem. So a place like, if we are a serious country, a place like National Identification Authority, where all the database of Ghanaians who have Ghana cards, this should be a serious security system, security center. I don't know if you get me. Places like that, places where, like Electoral Commission, where the database of all voters are kept. Okay, like SNET, where database of all workers are kept. These are places that should have heavy security systems that are not easily broken into. But the question is, Ghana we dey, what's up? What do you think? Let's share ideas on that. I don't know if anybody has experience with any of the places I mentioned, or has some. What do you think? Anybody at all? Hello? Am I on the call alone? Yes.
Hello.
I'm asking if anybody has an experience with has visited any place or worked with any place that has experienced any of the things we spoke about that you would love to share. Or there's no such. Okay.
I think I had a challenge with the network then. So.
Okay. So then we're looking at. That's fine. Let's make progress then. So then this one, multi-factor authentication. So now that we know what e-authentication is, okay, and the factors of e-authentication, okay, what is, in your layman's view, before we even get technical, what is multi-factor authentication? What do you think is multi-factor authentication? Let me leave this side so that nobody reads for me.
Okay, so from a layman's point of view,
yes,
multi-factor authentication is having two or more means of accessing a mail or
okay.
a system.
Okay.
Yes. So, for instance, with the recent WhatsApp hacks, there's always the education of having two-factor authentication. When you don't get access from your account, you are the only person to access it from your email address.
Okay. Beautiful. I think someone else was saying something.
Okay. To me, I think once the name implies multi, meaning more than one authorization, authentication. You have
Okay.
to do more than one.
Yes, you have to do more than one. Okay. So fundamentally, let me try and be simplistic here. Okay. So we've spoken about the factors of authentication, right? Something you know, something you have, where you are, something you do. You remember we just spoke about these ones, the e-authentication factors, right? Now,
Yeah.
there's a single factor. That is where you can just do authentication with just one. So that's something you know, your username and password. Okay, username and password. Then there's a multi or two-factor that uses, okay, a combination of more than one of these factors. Does it make sense now? So the single factor is just using one of these factors. Normally, there's something you know, the username and the password. But then when it comes to multi-factor, it means that you are using these factors, but at this time you are combining more than one factor to have access. So then it is something you know plus something you have. So then you have a token on your phone, or you have a message sent to your email, something you have, or you have to use your fingerprint on your phone. Do you get it?
Yeah, I'm getting it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that now these are the factors. Normally it is a single factor that single factor should work fine. But we know that now the hackers are getting so sophisticated that the single factors are not enough again. So then to increase, we spoke last week about control. We have to augment controls, right? So you double the layer of control. Remember that from last week? Control enhancement. Remember from last week? And so the two-factor, the double factor now becomes what? A control what? Enhancement. So that's a double factor, two-factor authentication. And then we can have multi-factor, where you can have 3 or more factors in play at the same time. So you can have your username and password. Then you can generate a token and still use biometric. So for instance, okay, when I am doing, so for my AWS account, I have 3. So it's a multi-factor. So there's a username and password. Then there is a token that is generated via a QR code that will be scanned on my phone. Then I will still use my fingerprint. So before you can have access to my AWS account, you must have my username and password. Then you must have my phone. Even after you have had my phone and scanned the QR code, you must have my finger to be able to access it with my fingerprint. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Yes. So these are what we call control enhancements or enhanced control. One control is fine, but then you want to be secure. So then you put multiple layers of control just to ensure that before they break into one, there's another control to break. And that delays the ease with which they get access into your system. Are we fine?
Yes, sir.
Any questions so far? Okay. If there's no question, I think we have 20 minutes before our scheduled closing time. Let me see if I can start control libraries. Okay. Control libraries. And then we'll do the introduction to control libraries today. And then tomorrow we will proceed from there. So I think we did all of these things. Yeah. So for this, we are done here. So we'll have to start control libraries. Okay. So you know what a control is, right? Who doesn't know what a control is? A security control. Okay, so we all know what a security control is. It is the measures you put in place to prevent unauthorized access, right? Or some people who do not have, or to prevent breaches, and that is fine. So what is a control library? A control library is a repository. Okay, so or a collection. So so you know what a library is? A library is a place where a lot of books are stored, right? And so you go there, you pick one book, you read. So a control, have that library mentality, have that library picture. So a control library is where all the controls an organization uses to manage their system are kept or are stored. Is it clear enough?
Please, can you go over it again?
Okay. So like I'm saying, have a library picture in mind. So a library is a place where a lot of books are stored. You know, so
Yes, sir.
yes. So a control library is a place, okay, where a lot of the controls the organization uses are stored. So let's come to our level. It could be a folder where the folder contains all the controls the organization uses to protect its data. So that folder is called what?
A control library.
A control library. Okay, so I'm still sharing my screen, right? Okay, so let's look at this carefully. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Where is this? Where is this saved? Where is this saved? Okay, what is the name of this folder?
Controls.
Controls.
Controls. So these are all the controls I use. Okay. So what is this?
That's
So
controls.
Yes.
Controls.
So what with the definition I just gave, technically,
Okay,
That's your control
that's a
library.
Yeah, so then that is my control library.
Yeah.
Do I have any controls? Okay, so control risk control metrics, control test activities, internal control assessments. Okay. So it means that these controls, if I need to implement any of these controls, is there a problem? Is there a problem? Okay, let's move on then. So you saw that control library, right?
Yeah.
So whatever controls I will need, once I have it in that folder is called what?
Control library.
It's a control library. It is a library, so it's that's why I said have the library picture in mind. When we're children, we're going to library, or you are in school, you are going to library. It's a place you go and all the books you need are kept. Now, in the organization, we implement a lot of security controls, right? Now, where do we save all those controls? We save them somewhere. So wherever we save it is called what?
Control library.
A control library. Is it understood? Is it understood now?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So wherever you save, so it's a repository. A repository is a place you save something. Yes. Is someone saying something? Okay, let's move on. So it's a repository where the controls are saved. Is it clear now? Or there's another question? Is it clear?
It's clear.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay,
please.
that's fine. So now that we understand what a control library is, let's look at, so from here onwards, we are getting into deeper waters. Okay. From here onwards, we are getting into deeper waters. Though it's not difficult, but then it will need you more it will need a lot more of concentration than we needed before. So these controls are often aligned with specific frameworks, standards, or regulations. So these controls that are saved, okay, they are aligned with specific frameworks. Frameworks are laws. Okay, so frameworks are laws. And so when you are developing a control, your control is based on a specific framework. So then you are developing your control based on a certain law. So for instance, if you have a company in Ghana and you have a company in Nigeria, okay, they will not have the same control mechanisms, though they may be similar, but they will not be the same. Why? Who answered that for me?
Maybe the risk in Nigeria is higher than that of Ghana.
The risk, okay.
Yes,
but I just said something here. I just need you to answer me based on what I said.
Let's say there are certain laws in Nigeria that might be different from the ones in Ghana. So you would have different regulations for each jurisdiction.
That is simplistic. So it means that your controls are based on the laws that apply. Do you understand me? So in proper jurisdictions, okay, in proper jurisdictions, healthcare laws are different from banking laws, and banking laws are different from fintech laws. Do we understand? And so it can be in the same jurisdiction, but you can be in the same country, but because you are in different industries, different laws apply to you. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So then you build your security controls based on the laws that apply to you, your country, or your industry, or your sector of work. So what may work as a security control for a hospital may not work as a security control for a bank. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So for instance, typically a hospital does not need to have controls for PCI, payment card index or payment card indicators, because hospitals are not using debit card or credit cards or all the cards, Visa card, MasterCard, all of that. Hospitals accept they accept payments through that. But in a typical hospital, PCI does not apply to hospitals. But then if you are in a bank, it means that you have to set up controls that align to PCI because you are using a payment card. Am I making sense? Guys, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the controls are aligned with specific frameworks. This is what I need you to understand tonight. The controls we are going to be learning, they are aligned to specific frameworks. And this is one of the things that makes staying in governance, cybersecurity governance, a bit difficult, but it's interesting because you have to be abreast with the laws. Yesterday, I was in a meeting and someone said, "Oh, I did this and I did this 4 months time. I was trying to do the same thing again. I realized that something has changed." So in 4 months, a country has changed its laws to inculcate some other things. If you are developing a control library or you are developing a policy for an institution within that country, if you want to apply the laws you knew last year, EMFA, because it may be that they have updated their laws, taking some things out, added some things. So you always have to be abreast. That's why I think from initial stages, I said that in this space, people are loving the space, but if you don't love reading, you cannot work here. If you are a lazy person, you see, a lot of people are getting into IT because they see the big money. They see people mentioning all the big figures. They are getting the big figures because they are doing big work. It's not cheap like that. All right, it's not cheap like that. I'm preparing for some certification exams and the kind of things I'm reading. And so I want to encourage you, build your reading habits. If you are not a lover of reading, I beg you, start loving reading. Start to love reading because you will need it a lot here. So then these controls are often aligned to specific frameworks. They are aligned to standards or regulations. Okay, so they are aligned to regulations, laws. Like I said, in proper jurisdictions, we have separate laws on privacy, data protection for specific industries. But then here in Ghana, the Data Protection Act is more of a general act for every industry. And so there's no industry specific regulations. We are now about to start, I think last week I mentioned this, that we're about to start some advocacy, especially on health information system management. And so we are putting up ourselves in order to start that. So then we'll have regulation that regulate health systems, health information security or information system management. Then we can come to financial institutions. Then we can come to mining institutions, so that every sector is governed by the laws and frameworks that applies to that particular sector, because the risk may be different from one place to another. Are we fine?
Yeah.
Okay. So that helps to ensure compliance, security, and operational efficiency. So these are some of the controls that we'll be looking at in your control library. Access control. Access control. So in your control library, if you are naming access control, so you can name it, this is the metadata, okay? So control ID AC01, access control 1, control name, user access management. Then there's a description. They implement and enforce user controls to ensure that only authorized persons can access critical systems and data. Now, framework alignment. So this access control, what laws is this access control based on? So framework alignment, ISO 27701, NIST 850. You understand? So it means that when you pick this access control, you want to audit this access control, you must be abreast with the laws of ISO 27701 and NIST. If you don't know ISO 27701 and you don't know NIST, you find it difficult understanding anything in the access control library. Do you understand it?
Okay.
Yes,
so it's
sir.
just like you are saying that there's a particular document that has been written, and the aligning framework is the 1992 Constitution of Ghana. To be able to understand what has been written, you first need to understand what the 1992 Constitution before it will make sense to you. Are we clear? Yeah, so he's saying that this access control, this control based in the control library, the underlying framework, the law, we just spoke about laws and frameworks, right? So this access control is based on the law ISO 27701 and NIST. Okay. Let's see if we have another one down here. Okay, so data encryption. Look at this carefully. Data encryption. So the control ID, DE02, control name, data encryption at rest. So look at this carefully. Data encryption at rest. So this data encryption is for only data at rest. Then there will be another control for data in transit. So description. Encrypt sensitive data at rest using industry standard encryption algorithm. So underlining frameworks, PCI, ISO, NIST. Once you see PCI, then probably it means that this is for a financial institution or an institution that is using bank card system. Are we okay?
Okay.
Don't worry, we'll get into all the frameworks later. I just want you to follow how the library is built. So change management. CM control ID CM03, control name, change control process. Description, implement a formal process for managing changes to IT systems, including testing, approval, and documentation. Framework alignment, COBIT, ITIL. So then to do proper change management, you need to be abreast with COBIT. All right. You see, okay, so let's look at this. I think this one too is NIST and ISO. Vendor risk, NIST and ISO. These are the common frameworks you'll be meeting up a lot. I think basically NIST and ISO, you should be fine with that. let me, I think I should have, give me a second. Let me see if I can pull this up for us to look at something. I did a work for a certain hospital in Ghana, in Accra. Where did I save this thing? Okay. This is for your eyes only. Okay. Let me try and move here quickly so that we don't get to see. I'm trying to see where I did the cross mapping. Yeah. Okay. All right. So look at this carefully. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is information security and privacy policy I'm drafting, or in fact, I drafted for a hospital in Ghana. Okay, we are trying to get them to be compliant so that we can get some international clients. Now, fundamentally, okay, it was, once it's a hospital, it's supposed to be HIPAA compliant. So the law I'm using here is what? HIPAA. Can we see that?
Yes.
Are you me? Or you are lost?
No, we are
We are
following.
seeing it.
Okay.
Following.
Okay. But then, because we are also in Ghana, you have to align it with data protection. Ghana Data Protection Act, Act 843. You understand? So then, you have to know these laws by heart. Okay. So then, risk analysis management. If you go to HIPAA, it is in Article 164.3 Section A, subsection 1. Then, if you come to administrative, the same risk analysis management, Ghana Data Protection Act, Article 24, security measures. Then when you come to this particular policy, it is in Section 6. So that if anybody wants to audit the system, once they pick this cross map, okay, you are able to be able to track. Then annual risk assessment. So risk register. Then I put in some NIST alignment. So it is aligned to HIPAA. It is aligned to Ghana Data Protection. It is aligned to NIST. So here alone, 3 laws are coming to play when it comes to risk analysis. I don't know if you are following the story I'm telling.
Yeah.
Yes, we have gotten it.
Okay, so you are looking at training workforce 164308, Section A, subsection 5. Okay, now it comes to that Ghana Data Protection Act, Article 25. Now HIPAA and Ghana Data Protection Act onboarding. So all of these things, you have to be able to cite the laws. You don't just develop the framework, you cite the laws under which you are basing the framework on. Hello,
Mr. Charles,
guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
My network went off, but I think we made some progress. Yes, and so you saw my screen and you saw the laws I was making reference to in the policy, right?
Yes.
And so we align whatever controls we are using to the existing laws. So in the cybersecurity governance, you are a lawyer because you have to begin to understand the laws and the frameworks that govern the security. So somebody is somewhere implementing the encryption. Okay, but the encryption is based on a law. Some of the laws are very specific as to which type of algorithm to use. Some of the laws are so specific as to the number of passwords to use. We'll get into that when we begin to look at how to draft and audit information security policies. You'll be fine. Any question for me so far? Oh, we are okay. Are we okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So it's 9:05. I think we can call it a night. Okay, it's from Steve. I'll make it available. Okay, I'll make it available. Okay. Thank you very much. I'll make it available. Any other issues? If not, we'll call it a night and we'll continue same time tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful night. Let's
All
meet
right.
tomorrow at 7.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry about that. The internet is a problem for a lot of people. So then once you missed out, please do well to check up on the recorded version. Watch it within the week. If you have any issue at all, I am available. Just send me a WhatsApp. All right, okay, I watched this. I didn't understand that. Let's schedule a quick Q&A session. Then we can address whatever issues you have whilst you are learning within the week. Is that fine?
Okay.
All right. Have a wonderful evening. Bless you. Let's meet tomorrow at 7. Bye-bye.